Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the table. Welcome to the Grown Folks Table. Are you all excited about being at the table tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Come
Well,
on.
if you're excited, you ought to show some sign. Put excited in the chat and let us know that you're happy to be at the table, because we're ready to dive into some grown folks conversation. But first, let me start out by saying my name is Elisha V. Cash, and I am the founder of the National Women's Empowerment Ministry and also the author of the Little Red Networking book. And I am here with some fabulous women, my fabulous co-hosts on tonight.
Hey, my name is Joyce Littell. I am the brand manager for News and Talk 1380 WAOK and the host of The Quiet Storm on V103.
Hello, and I am Dolores Grizzle, the immediate past president of the 100 Black Women Decatur DeKalb chapter.
And I am Vicki B. Turner, an elected official. I sit on the Board of Education for DeKalb County. And my husband and I have a DeKalb County initiative, DeKalb Cultural Exchange. Come out and visit with us every second Saturday on virtual.
Hello, I am Dr. Livy Bakar. I am owner and founder of Sugar Plum Events. I'm also an assistant pastor at Trinity AME Church. I am also the host of the annual Girlfriends Brunch that is held every New Year's Day. And I'm just a woman with many hats.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Well, we're so glad that you all pulled up to the table tonight for some grown folks conversation. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just say, what in the world was that?
Listen.
And that I refer to is Tuesday's night presidential election debate between President Trump. I had to be very careful what I called him.
His orangeness.
Yes. Vice President Joe Biden. What were your thoughts? I'm going to let you guys just go at it. What were your thoughts on the experience? Oh, wait a minute. Before we just jump to that, I must introduce our special guest tonight. Reverend D. Dawkins Hagler has joined us to the table. Go ahead and say hello to everyone, D.
Hello, everyone. I have been waiting all day for this. Y'all doing all right? Oh, I've been waiting all day.
Well, we're so excited. We're excited as well to just have a real grown lady conversation. And so I started off, I said, what was that? What was that on Tuesday? I'm going to let you all kick this off the way you experienced it organically.
Well, you know what? Because I know Libby and Dee are going to go to town on this. But to quote one of the commentators, I think it was Dana, she said it was a shit show. Did you hear that? It was a bona fide shit show. She said, I can say that. I'm on cable, so I can say that I'm on Facebook or whatever. But it was the most disturbing thing probably I've ever witnessed in the way of a forum or a debate.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. He came out the gate packing. And Joe, I was praying for Joe along the way. But I was so embarrassed that the leader of the free world, who many of our children look up to, that would model that kind of behavior. It was the most disgusting and deplorable thing that I've ever seen in the way of a debate. And I try to watch those as often as they have them, but I've never seen anything quite like that. And yet I was holding out against hope. I stayed through the whole thing and never changed my opinion at all. I said, but what was interesting is that one of the networks thought he had done an exemplary job. I couldn't believe it. It's like, what were you watching? But it
That
was
was his network.
it was
Well, for me, it was exhausting.
Yes.
It was so exhausting. What about you, Delois? Tell me,
Oh, and I love Chris Wallace. I think he's a great moderator, but he lost control.
he lost.
And that's the part that was when it really got crazy. I think 30 minutes into it, I was really ready to turn because you're right, as what Vicky was saying, when you think about the president of the United States and his whole strategy was to just come and create chaos.
Yes.
It was not about to debate. And I know the first 5 minutes, I thought, oh, they're going to be cordial. But that did not happen. I think he wanted to get Joe off balance from the beginning. That's his strategy because he did not have a plan. He didn't have anything to talk about, anything that would change the minds of the voters or those who were undecided. So for that, yes, it was uncontrollable, exhausting, as you were saying, for a president.
Yes.
You look for more. We really were looking for them to talk about issues and things that were important to the American people. We did not get that. So that was disappointing for me.
Yeah. I know, I have to confess, it was when Obama started running that I started watching debates. I mean, I got to be honest about that. And because of him made me interested in watching. So if there were anyone out there that was like me a few years ago who was giving it a shot, because of what's going on, then they probably would not watch another one. That's just how uncomfortable and hot mess it was. And for someone who really, want to understand, what I'm supposed to get, from my president, I got no clarity from that, Tuesday night. And I mean, I was about ready to just, call it a quit with it because it was just ridiculous to me. And just the disrespect. It's like he just doesn't want anyone else to speak.
Yeah.
No matter what, even with the debate or anything, he's just like, I don't want you to speak. And it just turned me away from even having interest in watching, any other than the vice president.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have a whole lot of high expectations, in regards to Trump being a debater, but I just wasn't expecting a complete train wreck. Libby, just tell me, help me understand what was going on.
You can't curse, Libby. You can't curse.
I thought I was watching the Cartoon Network with the boy during the day. Honey, I thought I was watching the Cartoon Network. We had a child on stage. A child was on stage having a tantrum and trying to bully his classmate. I mean, seriously, that's what we had on stage, a grown-ass child. I said it. For the saints, I did. Y'all gonna be fine. I promise you're gonna be strong and encouraged in the Lord. But let me tell you this. When you have somebody to stand on the stage who represent the free world, he is quote unquote the American dream. He's everything that America is supposed to represent accordingly as the president. When you stand up there and all you do is bully your opponent to prevent your opponent for even trying his strategy, his plan, anything. That's what he did. He came out with a tactic. And that's all he decided to do. Now, I'm sure there were people in the room that probably told him, don't go out there doing X, Y, Z. But he cannot be controlled because he will always become unhinged when he's threatened. He knows that people are sick and tired of him. Even people in the Republican Party, they don't want to say it, but they are. They're talking about him behind closed doors. They are. And so this is the reason why he reaches out to these people in certain areas, his base, because he likes to rally folk. And I hate to say this, who are ignorant. And they're out there and all they want to do is get white America back. Now, here is the thing to white America that he's talking to. He cares nothing about you. He has never been in any of your neighborhoods. He's never been to any of your schools. He's never been to any of your grocery stores. He's never been to any of your PTAs. Yet and still, you are allowing a bully, somebody who has always had a gold spoon, not a silver spoon, in his mouth, to just get you rallied up just so that he can win. Not about anybody. He doesn't care about any of these people who, by the way, most of them need Affordable Care Act.
Yeah. Well,
Most of them need the Affordable Care Act. So while y'all running behind him, when something happens to you or your child, you are the ones that have to go in and try to get health care, and you have pre-existing conditions, because in the areas in which most of them live, this base of people, they have issues. And so that's the issue I have when he's standing on the stage and he was a complete clown in a circus bullying his classmate.
well, you brought up the word clown, and I'm glad you did, because Joe Biden called him a clown on that night. And so you have those persons, D, that are saying him calling, even though he's the president, and even though they were disagreeing, that, you know, Joe Biden was at some way out of order by, you know, calling him a name and calling him the president a clown. What is your take on that particular feedback?
So this is what I'm going to say. First of all, I'm glad to be with y'all again. Okay. I expected every bit of that. So you have to understand, he is a reality television star, and his whole purpose is to excite and incite a crowd. So many people tuned in because you all knew he was going to act a monkey fool and accomplish what he set out to do. And I want y'all to understand, it was a tactic. And the tactic is to always show yourself strong, always be in control, no matter how foolish you look. Remember, the people who coached him through his debate was Rudy Giuliani and Chris Christie. So what did you expect was going to happen? They told him to go in there, show off with bravado, act crazy, command the stage, overtalk people, and then you'll have people confused, and then your base will be all riled up. So he did what he set out to do. Now, to us who have good sense, because most people are like, I can't process what's happening here. Well, the goal is to have everybody in a state of confusion and not understanding what's happening, so that he doesn't have to address policy, so that he doesn't have to, you know, own up to what he's supposed to be doing as a leader of the free world. It's supposed to leave you in the state that you're in right now. The only thing we're talking about is his behavior and not his policy.
Yeah.
The whole world is his behavior. So the Republicans, they thought he was strong. The Proud Boys was happy. As soon as he got finished, they was proud. They were really proud of their Proud Boy. They proud. They proud of the Proud Boy. And we're sitting here in total disgust. We're in disgust because our parents would have whipped our behind. We'd have showed out like that on television. And, you know, it would be a shame. My grandmother, she said, I'm just embarrassed. We're all embarrassed. Do you think he's embarrassed? No, he's not embarrassed. He did what he set out to do. Because he said next debate, the numbers are going to double. Because everybody's going to come back and see what the clown going to do at the clown show.
And
that's a hot mess.
And that brings me to my next question. Should there even be another debate? I mean, because was this really a debate? And so what are we looking forward to in a whole debate?
Well, I'm not. I mean, I've already said I'm not doing it. I already know who I'm going to vote for, and I know that the current president has already shown himself not to be a leader, and you are not going to change in a couple of months to make me feel like you're going to do any better. So I don't need to watch your foolishness anymore. You know, that's not, I'm not going there. I'm not going there, period. So there will be at least one person that'll say, I didn't see it. I'm serious. I mean, I already know.
I'm going to watch. And most people go, you know, okay. Now, you know how you say you're not going to watch that reality show because they acting a fool.
And you watch it anyway.
You help yourself because you're like, I know they're going to act the fool and I really know better than this. Well, what's going to happen? People are really going to watch. And not only are we're going to watch, the rest of the world now is tuning in. They want to know what our president is going to do and say. Yesterday and the day before, 2 days in a row, I was on an international economic call with former heads of state, 2 former presidents in Africa, and prime ministers. They were literally laughing at the United States of America.
Right.
I'm telling you, I was shamed, like grandmama kind of shame. I was shamed, but what can we do? They're like, oh, and you have another debate. We can't wait. We can't wait to come and see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
But
like
see-
Joyce. I'm with Joyce. I will not. I'm one that I'll be out of it. I'm going to wait to the vice president's discussion. I will not waste. I call that empty TV. That's not my night to have empty TV. I'm through with it. I've had it.
I would
You know-
tape it. Now I would tape it, and then if I get a chance to watch it, I'll watch it. But I would tape it.
With my space.
My time is valuable, and I know it's going to be a clown show, as Biden called him clown, and that backs to what you were saying, Dee, with that people were thinking maybe he went down that rabbit hole with him. But you know, sometimes you got to stand a little strong. He took a lot from him, and I thought he really his composure, and I think he really stood really firm and presidential through all of that, because Trump, he is downright dirty. He plays dirty, and again, as you talked about his tactics, his strategy to do that, because he know he can rattle Biden, especially when you start talking about his boys. And anybody know when you start talking about your children, we don't care how grown our children are, but when you start talking about my children. Now you're ready for a fight, so I'm surprised the gloves didn't come off. But I thought he really held himself. Hey, because I'm the same way. My 41, hey, I would take my gloves off when we start talking about my child. Yeah, so I was understanding it, and I could see it in his eyes. But what I really loved, he went back to, let me talk to the American people. Let me talk to the camera, and I think he did a good job doing that, because Trump was definitely trying to get his attention, all those gestures he was making, you know, his mannerisms. It was just chaos, but I'm glad the American people, the intelligent, smart people, you know, we know what day it is. We know it was just a clown show, as Dee Hagler said. And so we weren't buying into it. Were we watching it? Yes, just to see him make a big A of himself. It's what he did. But for us, right, I'm with Joyce and Vicky and everyone. He did not change my opinion of who I'm voting for.
Right.
Which is definitely
My
not
issue is, though, you know, my issue is that there are people that are still undecided. And that's to me, that we are securing who we want to vote for. And that's fine. But there are a bunch of people who are undecided. There are a bunch of people who are still swinging and straddling the fence. And that's my greatest concern, is that we do need all hands on deck for this one. And we don't need people who are undecided to still stay back or not vote. And so I think that's something that bothers me about the whole thing. And like Dee said, we know he's a clown. We know he'll come out and he'll be a clown. We know he'll do these things. But I think the biggest thing for me was people did not get to really hear Biden. They didn't really get to hear the things that he was saying. Every time he would say something, Dump would say that he's a radical left, and so he would never give him the opportunity to be able to tell his plan and what he wants to do, and how on some things he is in the middle. And there are those who are progressive who with all Bernie supporters, they don't like some of the things that that's on his plan. But yet and still, they've decided, okay, we need to, get on board. But there are others who are Bernie supporters who are not saying that, or people who are Elizabeth Warren supporters. So I think that's the unfortunate thing that happened Tuesday night, which probably leads to them having another debate. Because at some point, Biden needs to be able to say the things that he's going to do. And somebody put in my page the other day, and they said, well, all they have to do is go to his website. Well, that's not how it works. They need to hear from the candidate. They need to be able to look at the candidate disposition and how they respond to the questions. That's important. And for people who are on the fence, it may be one issue that they just need to hear from him about to see what he's going to say. And that's the problem that we have. And Trump knew that. He knew that there were swing voters or undecided voters that was going to be watching this debate. And so he tried to continuously overtalk him and to basically try to get Uncle Joe to show up. See, if Uncle Joe had showed up, baby, somebody would have got cut on Tuesday. You understand? Somebody would have got cut on Tuesday. Vicky, he would have borrowed your knife because I'm telling you right now, if Uncle Joe had showed up, and they didn't want him to, they said please bring the VP because if Uncle Joe show up, we're gonna lose.
And that was one of the things I was glad he kept his cool, especially like you said, Dolores, when he started talking about his boys, because you know he's very passionate about his sons, and then he brought up his son's drug problem, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Do we really want to start talking about folks' children?" And so the fact that he didn't come back talking about his children, I said, see, that's somebody we can follow. That's a leader, you know, because when you start talking, you know, it's like you say, your mama, you know, it was that we should have started going back and forth since they were already on the playground, because that's pretty much what it looked like to me, like two kids on the playground and one trying to keep his composure and the other one kept you know, poking at him, you know, and over talking him. And then I think even at one point, Trump was going back and forth with Chris. You know?
Oh yeah.
Right. And then he mentioned that, oh yeah, I guess I'll debate you on this. Okay, come on, y'all. What's really going on?
Yeah.
What was really going on?
Some of the Republicans upset with Chris because they thought that he was impartial. They thought that all he did was just condemn and go after Trump, and they didn't give Trump a fair chance. I have friends who are Republicans, and I've seen this on their page. So some of them were very upset with Chris Wallace, not for the reason that some of us felt like he didn't push enough or what have you, but they are saying he was extremely impartial. He was not fair. They want him off Fox network. He's there. Very upset with him because they felt like Trump was strong. He didn't get an opportunity to be able to tell some of his plan and things that he's going to do. Yes.
Trump doesn't. But he had the same amount of time. He had the time, but he chose to speak on what he wanted to speak on with his time.
Yeah. He took his time picking at Joe and trying to harass him, then speaking on his plan. He didn't have a plan. It was evident that Joe showed up prepared, and Donald Trump did what he normally does, was showed up to pick a fight.
And you know what else was clear to me, and I think it's been said already, Chris Wallace lost control. He might have been cordial to Joe, but he lost control, and the president knew he had the upper hand. And I would hope that there's been some lessons learned, and whoever is the moderator, they got to come out, because Trump didn't do anything more than what he always does.
That's true.
He's known as a bully. He lived up to his reputation. And there was speculation that he was going to come and try to deflect. They said there was speculation he was going to do those things.
Who can control him?
And talk about the children. Everybody speculated. Whoever's going to be that moderator, they got to come out packing.
But Vicky, who can control him? In all honesty, who can control Donald Trump?
Turn the mic, mute him.
That's the only thing. Unless you're gonna get somebody like Madea, somebody with a Madea character. How you gonna? Stop him? Yeah. I'm being serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, how do you stop Donald Trump? He did what he set out to do. That is what he intended to do.
That's right.
First of all, he wanted to gaslight the issues. He wanted to talk about Antifa. He wanted to talk about the left. So in essence, he accomplished what he set out to accomplish.
Absolutely.
They thought he won. He said they only want to change the Commission on Presidential Debates, only want to change the format because I won. I handily won. He really believes that in his head. So, but anyway, Trump is basically saying, like, Nina, who gonna check me, boo? In his mind, like, who gonna check me? This reality show is at its best. I mean, what are we going to do? And so, if you notice, poor little Biden, you call him Uncle Joe, because he can say some real cuss words if he wanted to. Like he could have really got body. Yeah. But the poor little man didn't know what to do. He's trying to contain himself. He's trying to be presidential. You got this man yelling at Chris Wallace. And the American people, believe it or not, people like strength.
Mhm.
People like power.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't want Joe Biden to look weak.
Yes.
I mean, but you also don't want people squabbling, but this is a blood sport right now. We are at war. So now that we are at war, you can't take a knife to a gunfight. So what we gonna do?
Yeah.
So the next debate, he better come with it. I mean, I know y'all gonna say, we don't want you to do that. Respectable politics is out the door. We have no more respectability politics. It's gone. I mean, that door is left for right now. Right now, we in the street. We street fighting right now. So
That's right.
we better get with it. We better street fight back with those Republicans who are not afraid to tell us who they think we are. We better get back with them.
I totally agree with that. I think that's one of the things that I although I wanted Biden to be presidential, I wanted him to go with this strategy that they probably talked about, that they needed him to come out and not fly off the handle, because we know sometimes he flies off the handles that nothing gets done.
Right.
So I wanted that part of him as well, but I also wanted him to throw a punch back. To me, felt like that, the undecided voters, not for those who are going to vote for him. And no slight to us, but he don't need to be talking to us no more. We've already made up our mind. He has to talk to the undecided voters. And there are those in that group who needs that strong person who can stand up to a Trump. They want somebody that can sit the damn bully down.
Yeah.
They won't. And unfortunately, we know he can do it, but we didn't see him. He barely looked at him. Like he only turned to the side, but Trump was all the way turned to the side looking at him. At some point in that debate, Biden should have turned his head directly at him, and he should have checked. If not anything, he could have done it about his son. Because
Absolutely.
everybody in the world would have gave him room.
I would have.
Do whatever at that moment. To me, that was an opportune moment for him. Hell, I don't have no kids, but you talk about somebody kid that with me, I'm listen.
Ready, girl. Ready.
You better call security, because I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. It's about to get ugly, and I'm not talking about pretty ugly, honey. This about to get nasty.
That's what the advertisings are about. It's about strength. It's about, is he strong enough to defend this country on whatever occasion? And I'm with Dr. Libby up there, and Dee, you got to show it, in front of the people and the eyeballs that are watching, who haven't determined who they're going to vote for, like I have. No matter who shows out, no matter who does what at the debate the next time. I mean, I'm pretty much determined. I am determined. So I think that's what he has to come out swinging. So he need to go ahead on and hire Libby, and go ahead on and hire me on his campaign, and let them talk to him about how he needs to go out. Because the other thing is, somebody isn't saying that, and they need to say that. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to agree to disagree with you all on that, only because I think he had a great opportunity to do what he did, which was to show his intellect and basically reveal what everyone already knew, that Donald Trump was not the smart or intelligent person that he is. He wasn't able to speak on any policy. When in turn, all the other stations have gone back to fact check him. It's shown that he told lies during that time. And so I want to give, I want to say that each person have their own swag or their own persona that helps them represent their leadership and their leadership style. And we seen what Trump's leadership style is. It's embarrassing to all the other for all the other leaders around this world. And so we need someone that looks presidential. And I think on Tuesday night, that's what Joe did, that he stood up and looked presidential. And because, some Republicans, like you said, they were very embarrassed. They were embarrassed that he was out there picking at the man's family and wasn't able to speak to his policies, things like that. They were embarrassed. Trust and believe.
Embarrassed, baby. They were.
Not
Don't you let them fool you. They have
conservative.
one mission in mind, and that is the end goal. Their end goal is to get somebody on the Supreme Court. Their end goal is to make sure you mess with their taxes, raise their taxes. Their end goal is to make sure that you keep abortions illegal, to make them illegal. So let me tell you something. Republicans, if they really cared about intellect, they wouldn't have never put him in the White House in the first place. When he ran the first time, he acted like a pure donkey. He acted like a fool the first time. And they still, after all those intelligent Republicans ran, they still put that reality star in the White House. And he has been crazy. There's no need to fact check him. We already know he's a liar. Didn't Biden tell y'all that when he was talking? We already know you're a liar. So there's no need to fact check him because you're a liar. And they still are willing to vote for that man again.
And they know he's
crazy.
They really do not care. We think they care. They do not care. They just want to make sure they don't lose their race.
Absolutely.
And the thing is too,
They don't care.
what bothers me more than anything is they're using the whole thing of violence in the street. You're not strong enough to handle the riots that are taking over the cities, and he's strong enough to keep the suburbs safe. See, that matters again to undecided voters. That matters. And like I said before, I liked him presidential too, E. I did. I loved him presidential, but I'm going to for. So for me, his stance was good. But for those who I know who are undecided, who I talked to, he didn't do enough. There was not enough that he did there to show them.
Decided on. I don't understand. So what is
some of them are progressive, and so what Bernie was going to bring to the table and things that Bernie was going to do, they were more in line with that. Others, Elizabeth Warren, the same thing. So you have persons who are coming along this train because this is the only train, but they still want to see Biden also remember them and not just remember you and I. So not that Biden continues to have a plan for what you like or what I like, but he's going to have to incorporate some other things in that to show. And there are some Black voters who feel like he has not, and I'm one of them, that he has not said enough of what he's going to do for the Black community and for African Americans. And here
from platinum plan then, because Trump don't have nothing. Have y'all seen Trump?
No, but you know what, E? He listed out a full gamut plan. Here again, whether we agree with him or not, he gave a plan. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. The people who are undecided, they're going to need to see more from the Biden camp. It's just going to have to be done.
You know what, Libby, I hear you, and I understand that on a certain level. But either the people, the undecided, okay, we can walk out of here and remain undecided and get 4 more years of that crap, okay? And you can assert yourself as the undecided, right? Or you can look at what the man has done, okay? Whether he wrote out his plan or not. Look at what we've had for these 4 years. And if we want more of the same, then that's what we get. Or either we get behind change. And while Biden maybe hasn't delivered a strong enough message, and perhaps he got the people that are sharing that with him for the next go round. However, it will be an improvement over what we've had. And that's my only thing is he's not as, and I like Joe. I do like Joe, but I felt that he was very, he held himself together. Maybe he didn't reduce himself down to that level. Bullies want you to come down where they are. And maybe, I know he said the fight is on. We know this is the OK corral. Maybe so. I love Western, so I can get with that. But I'm just saying these undecided have got to rise up above the excuse of being undecided and make a decision that either we keep going down the road that leads to hell with 4 more years of this, or we jump on the bandwagon and try to support some intentional change for us. I just feel that way.
I tell you, if COVID doesn't change people's minds, they really need to pay attention to what's going on. That right there, especially people who've lost people. So if some of those undecided voters have people they've lost or people close to them, they really should think about that, because this is something he has known about
Yes.
for over a year and a half, probably longer than that. And this did not have to happen. All these people did not have to die. So they need to just look at all those things. We talk about taxes. That really burns me up. I don't want to talk about those taxes, but just all those things he's done, all those things he's hiding, the impeachment that didn't come up. People didn't talk about that, all the $500 million he owes in debt. We don't know what is going on, and we don't know about these other countries, where he is entanglement with them.
Yeah,
We don't know about that.
Who he's entangled with. Y'all better say it.
We better watch it.
Because let me tell you who he not entangled with, his wife. Because baby, did you see what she She didn't know him. She walked up there like, I got to go up here and stand next to this clown. And
Exactly what she did.
she was just like this because she was ready to go back to the White House and get with the chef that's down in the kitchen. So, listen, she was not happy standing next to him. And y'all know I ain't lying now. Let me just get on mute. I'm going on mute.
But you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth.
I'm telling the
Yeah,
truth.
she's telling the truth.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad.
But I mean, she's shown that side all ever since she's been there. She's shown the side that she is not. She's married to him, but she's not with him. She's
Yes.
shown that since day one. So.
But that's what she
She was-
gets. That's what she gets for trying to marry that rich man. That's what she gets.
I agree.
Now
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
that's. But anyway, this is what I was gonna say. I noticed that Democrats always want to be respectable and intelligent, and intelligence does not necessarily win elections. See, intelligent is just what we are, and we always try to defer to. We don't conduct ourselves like that. We are better than that. We're above that, and then we lose. And at some point, we better get tired of losing, because I think that even if Hillary Clinton had to win a little harder, just a little harder, and the Democrat Party had gone harder and not tried to ignore Trump with that foolishness last time, we may not be in this mess this time. Because we always want to say, we can't get in the weeds with you. We can't do that. I mean, why would we even, indulge this? Why would we even pay this any attention? We're above this. This is not who we are. We don't talk like this. We don't act like this. Yes, they do. Yes, they most certainly do. And they put him right in the White House to do exactly, to do their bidding. And he has done exactly what they wanted him to do. He has said the things they wanted to say.
Yes.
Don't let anybody fool you, because if they did not agree with him, they would have already sat his behind down. They are in total agreement with this man and his rhetoric. We have seen racism go to a new level under this administration. They pretend like they were like, oh, you've got to denounce all of this Proud Boy, this racist lies. They lying to you. They are so glad Trump is out there doing this stuff. They don't know what to do. They're probably at home having parties and doing high fives and whatever the little sign they got that I thought, we think it's a Kappa sign because they be doing this, but whatever that is they doing, whatever it means, I don't know. What does that mean? But something they're doing it. And we're thinking, everything's okay. It's not okay. And I've been looking at these pages of my, we all have other friends, and they're talking real reckless, and we better pay attention.
Yes, Lord, they are. They. I mean, it is. And these are ones who I know folk who contacted COVID and was sick, and they still.
Wow.
Man, that's what I'm saying. It's a dirty game out there. And then the other thing is, like I said, they are, like Dee said, they're sitting back and they're saying, except for maybe a few of them that I like are swing voters. Sometimes they may vote Democrat, sometimes they may vote Republican. A mess. So they are sitting back and they're saying, he is saying everything we've been trying to say for years, but he's just ignorant enough to do it.
That's right.
He's just not polished. That's what they said. He's not polished. We say they really feel like they have been discriminated against. They really feel like we are taking their country that they've worked hard to build, even though we built this country. They really believe what the rhetoric that they're saying, and we're not paying enough attention because they realize the demographics are changing and power does not concede power. So they don't like the way that he's saying it, and he's so loud and obnoxious with it, but they want him to say it and do it nevertheless. If not, they would have already shut this whole thing down.
I mean, you have these leaders saying, one of them, where the rally is going to be, one of the leaders there, I won't say his name, but he said, I don't need to wear a mask because I'm not sick. That's what he said. That's the ignorance that's coming down from the White House. Why do I need to wear a mask? I'm not sick. Well, why do I wear a seatbelt? I never had an accident, but I can. So I mean, this is what we're dealing with, and this is why we got to be stronger. And let me tell you that this is why our Congress, we don't have the Congress, and that's because we got to be stronger. We've done this dignified walk. We've done this. We're the intellectual party. We've done this whole dance and caboodle, and look where it has gotten us. We are now trying to get as many seats as we can. And guess what? Now this man is going to get this Supreme Court justice in, who is probably going to flip or attempt to flip the Roe versus Wade.
Yep.
And dealing with criminal justice. We're going to be in a lot of trouble, because do you understand how many inmates who are in there, who are innocent, who have submitted their briefs to the Supreme Court? Do you know how many that submit that, and they're getting shut down because you're going to have an unbalanced court? This is really, really serious and really, really big. And this is why, for me, I keep saying this: the undecided voters are important for me. They just important for me, because we need all hands on deck. We don't need a repeat of what happened to us years ago. We gotta stand up, we gotta push, and we gotta be able to show those persons who will go and vote for everybody else except for the president. They would do that. So we gotta do some different things, and you know, we gotta be grassroots. We gotta do a lot of different things. We gotta talk about issues that we don't really want to talk about. We haven't talked about. We cannot just assume that every Black voter is going to go into that box and vote straight Democrat ticket. We can't do that anymore. You can, as a candidate,
I mean, if you watch the ads, even the ones that are running on my station are Black voiced. You know, the radio ads that are running on my stations are Black voiced, just trying to let our community know that we are standing behind this man who they know, or at least should know, that he is not standing behind us. But he will say what he needs to say. He will sign whatever document in the next month that he needs to sign to just make you think that he's part of you and what you feel you need for this community. So, I mean, like Libby and everybody's been saying, we have to wise up, and people have to wise up. This man has one agenda, and that agenda is to continue to strengthen those who don't need the support that the rest of the country needs. He's not thinking about Obamacare in the sense of helping 20, 30, 40 million people who can't afford to have it. He's not thinking about that, because he can easily stroke a check and have any type of medical care, and anybody in his circle, anybody who he's won the golf club with, they can do the same thing. They can do that. It's just a misfortune that some of us who have arrived, or at least think we have arrived, think that he cares about them, and he really does. He doesn't care. So I think Biden got to come out swinging. You know, I understand being presidential and professional, but I mean, all of us sat at a table and you have had to stand up and say, look here, enough is enough. And I'm tired of what you all are saying. I know I've had to stand up at the table and say that, and I'm pretty sure most of us have. And when it's time to stand up, then we have the intelligence, we have the professionalism to say it, but then you also got to have the strong enough voice to say, I ain't playing with you either. So don't come, So I think that's what has to happen. We see it. You can't just be nice to this man. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Well, Brenda
And I
has,
think, go ahead, Alicia.
Brenda has a question that stated, or a comment. What about influential Blacks who are Trump supporters? For example, Attorney General Cameron, who have undecided and uneducated Blacks who are looking up to these people.
I don't understand why they're looking up to him. He's married to Mitch McConnell's niece. I mean, that tells you everything right there.
Bottom line.
No more words.
Period.
Point. I mean, he was going in that direction because of the marital status.
But you know what? It's so easy and I've watched this in our political circles, where people sell out for nothing. They sell out. It's like the Jacob and Esau for a bowl of beans. You'll see right.
Come on home, preacher. Come on.
On the shoulders of people who have died for you.
Wow.
And when you get in a place of prominence, you get in a place of being influential and affluent, and you sell out and you make a commercial. You make a commercial just to get your name in lights or get your face. I watch some of the shows, some of the commentators, and I look at people who look like me, and I cannot believe that they would sit and go for this foolishness and say that he's for Black people. Are you kidding me?
When he told the Proud Boys, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by.
Yes.
And what about Charles Barkley? How do you feel about his comments?
Who was it?
Charles Barkley is living in another world. And he needs to stick to sports. It's what he knows. And he needs to leave politics alone. Because I don't even want to get into what he said about Breonna Taylor and all of that. I don't want to talk about that. But he needs to leave that alone. Just stick to sports. Because he and Shakira, who everybody loves, but you are so outdated, you don't know anything what's going on. And they make the worst comments.
It's sad.
It really is. I'm like, if you don't know what's going on, just don't comment or just stick to what you all are talking about, the sports.
But you know what? Libby gave me permission, so I'm going to say this. There's a scripture that says a fool is known by the multitude of their words. Now remember that. A fool. When you open your mouth, you dispel all doubt. Everybody know you're a fool.
Listen, these people are walking around here with our skin color, but they're not drinking the same Kool-Aid. And they're walking around and think they have arrived because they have a certain kind of person that's on their arm. And because a certain person is on their arm, or if the person has our skin, they are acting like a certain kind of person. And so they think that they now fit into this world because they went to certain schools and they did certain things and they lived at certain addresses. And so they feel accepted. And the other matter is they have been embarrassed by Black people, and they have decided that they were going to go the other way. Little did they know that when they walked out of the room, that they dogged them out and called them the N-word and them and said, we gave this in one seat at the table because we know that we're going to be able to still have him in a noose. That's the issue that we have. We've had some monkey fools, monstrosity. I'm talking about hot trash in the middle of the summer. That's what we got. And they're walking around here and they're standing up trying to pretend that they're going to be on this side of the fence, because really the truth of the matter is they've never been for us. They probably don't even like their mama, honey.
Not their mama living, not their mama.
Even dealing with those folks on that side of the family, honey, they're not invited to their house. Their children probably don't even have any Black friends. And it's just the truth. I've encountered them in corporate America. You encounter them all the time, and you can say a statement that it doesn't matter where you live. That statement, and you would laugh, but they would act as if they never heard of it. But Trump said this whole stand back and stand by, oh, they all felt real stupid at that point. Felt real dumb, and they wanted him to fix the statement. And they said he probably misspoke, because guess what? You can't backpedal now.
Yeah.
You
Oh, it's out there.
stood at the RNC. You did all this kind of stuff. You've had fundraising events for him. You've done. There's no way you can backpedal, because now you have gotten yourself in this clique and you don't want to get out, because you know you are not invited back to the barbecue, honey.
Yeah, you're not coming back.
You're not coming back to the barbecue.
Yeah.
I thought that also that the debate will have a lot of attention surrounding the taxes, and so that didn't play out as well, because I just knew that, being that it was released right before the debate, that it's just going to be a hot discussion. And when it was kind of rolled over, it kind of started to make me feel a little bit like you were saying, Dee, that these people, they know what they have, because Hillary Clinton told them that the man wasn't paying taxes, and she probably was sitting around saying, I told you so, I told you so. You know, I can just hear her saying that. You know, she probably said a whole lot of I told you so's, to be honest. And if we have to have a replay of what happened when they were running, I'm thinking that we need to reorg the Democratic Party in the way that we campaign for this presidency. What are your suggestions? What is it that we need to do different? How do we need to look? We've already said that Joe needs to be more aggressive in his plan, and everyone needs to know what that plan is and how it could benefit them, because there is a poll out there that said that the African-American men and Hispanic men do not feel drawn to him as a candidate. So how do we even address that? Because we don't need people to sit home and not participate and vote. So that means we have to communicate. There needs to be more commercials out there that are geared toward people that are, what you said, Libby, undecided.
I think these women need to get the ballot for the husband or the men or the boyfriend and fill it in.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
We got to show them the way.
Hello.
Dee, I'm gonna get out one to you.
But I was going to say this. So they did focus groups after the debate with independents, and they kept doing different independents. I watched several different stations with their independents.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, when they said after the debate, who do you think won the debate, or who would you vote for now? Do you know they still would not say Joe Biden? They still said we're undecided. We still don't know which way we want to go. Even after they saw all of that tomfoolery, they still were like, we don't know what we want to do. We're not really sure where they stand on the issues. Okay. So I don't even believe it's that. I believe you know exactly what you say. You just don't want to say out loud that you are in agreement with what's going on. Now, as far as the young black men, that 18 to about 45 age group, a lot of them are not feeling this Biden-Harris ticket. Let's just be honest. They're just not. They're not feeling it. But y'all, I think there's some kind of Russian, Chinese, something going on that's targeting their social media. And why do I say this? We're not getting the same messages, but they all saying the same thing. So for them to all be on the same page, and we live in the same houses, and we eat the same food, and we watch the same television, so it's not TV. So it has to be in their social media. It has to be what's being sent to them that we're not seeing, because it's not targeting black women the same way. Because we don't have the same talking points. I am convinced. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the algorithm is. I don't know how we're going to fix this. Maybe we should just take everybody doggone sale for social media until the election, because it is something that even between my 29-year-old son and my youngest son, I mean, all these talking points. And I'm like, where the hell, who is telling you this when I'm telling you that? I know I'm having conversations with you.
My nephew.
And they're all, I promise you, even the guys I grew up with, they're saying the same thing, y'all. So we gotta figure out, they get this from someplace. Now, so I mean, and we may not believe this, but I'm telling y'all, I came up with this epiphany the other night. I was something's going on. I got my girl on tonight. She all in my face. But anyway, we've got to do something to get everybody, to get these boys and these young men away from this. I'm telling you, because they all talk about Biden and Harris locking black people up, black men up.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
That's all they're talking about.
yes,
Then they come up with all of these conspiracy theories.
yes.
And I'm like, who told you that? And I'm telling you, how would my son that's 29 know what somebody that's my age, 49, talking about in West Columbia, unless somebody done put something in this dog on social media, because they all saying the same thing.
I agree. My nephew, same thing.
Something going on, y'all.
It either is something that they're seeing, not
Something.
through the dark web, but something that's out there that may be in the social media. Maybe it's a hashtag, maybe there's a site, maybe there's circulation of information, but there's something that they're hearing and seeing, because they are exchanging the same kind of thing. We're hearing the same stuff, and they feel the same way, and the speech is aligned. You can go from here to New York to LA, and you're going to get the same speech from that age group, because they are not filling this ticket at all. And they are not us, where they're going to say, okay, I'm just going to get on board just because I'm just going to, they're not going to come along like that. And we have to remember that that's a different generation. They have a different need. They have to be met in a different way. And they're not going to come along in that way. They're just not going to do it.
Wow.
Well, if we had our pick to choose a moderator for this next debate, if it was left up to us tonight, who would you all choose? Who on your Rolodex would you choose to be the moderator for the next debate? Now, I'm very, very afraid of who Vicky is going to choose. Somebody has already hollered out Madea. I think we need to go in a different direction. But, who do you suggest? Who would you suggest would be a better moderator?
This is not me, but somebody sent me something and they said, I know who it should be. And I'm just saying it for, somebody unnamed. It's not mine. And it's not my baby. Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay, well, John Shaft.
But I don't know. I think it should be a woman.
I say Joe from Lean on Me. We Joe with that back. Be sitting down there from Lean on Me.
Baseball bat.
And I think it should be Maxine Waters.
Oh, she will be good.
Yeah.
Oh yes, me too. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I never thought about that, but I would go with her too.
She's gonna call him Don the Con. She's gonna say, "Shut up, Don the Con." I mean, she
She will cut the mic off.
She wouldn't back down. She wouldn't back down at all.
Back down.
Yeah.
Who you have, Delois?
Oh, Tamara Hall.
Tamara Hall. She's sweet.
Tamara Hall. But I think Tamara could get in there. Sometimes we take that sweetness, but I think she'll show you another side. I really do. Joe got another side, and he better show it at the next one. He needs to come.
What about Joy Reid?
Joy Reid.
Yes.
Yeah.
she could try.
Gail could do it.
Gail King.
Gail could do it.
No, I
I
don't
think she could. I think she could.
We don't want to see.
I mean, I'd be willing to
She couldn't control R. Kelly, so she definitely.
Right.
She couldn't. He walked
But
out.
as Dee said, we can't control. I say Dee Hagler. I say Dee Hagler.
He would lose her cool up there. You know it.
I would be cursing for real, like for real. I'm telling y'all. You know what? I would love to be the White House press secretary. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'd be. Wouldn't that be a great job for me?
That would be great.
I mean, I probably would last like a week, but I'm saying that entire week, the ratings would be off the roof. It would be great. I mean,
Somebody said Iyanla, beloved. She would be there saying, "Beloved."
No.
she wouldn't get far at all. She would not get far at all. Let's see.
Maybe you have not shouted out your pick. Who would be your
I did. I said Joe would, from Lean on Me. That's okay. I think Joe from Lean on Me to the back would be great for that. I don't. You know what? I used to like how when Eiffel did the debate.
Yes.
I
She
loved
was
how
good.
she was an excellent moderator. She,
Right.
God rest her soul, she would not have tolerated.
No, she wouldn't have.
She
Mhm.
would have not. And she would have been a strong person in that room.
Yeah.
So somebody with that kind of demeanor and disposition and that kind of authority, I think needs to be the moderator. And I really don't know anybody that could do that. Maxine, like Dee said, of course could do that, but thinking about who can get out there and do something like she was just the best at this. She did this very, very well. And
Very dignified.
I'm not sure who could do it. I can think about Fox commentators and CNN commentators, and even those with ABC. None of them, I think, can measure up to the caliber of how she did moderation. I don't think that none of them could do it.
She's excellent.
Yeah.
What about a comedian? What about Whoopi Goldberg?
Whoopi,
Goldberg will cuss him out.
He was
That's,
talking about-
He's short of doing that on The View daily.
I know we don't want Megyn Kane. I know that.
what about Cat Williams?
That's a great person. I think he'll do a
Dave
great job.
Chappelle. Let Dave Chappelle get in there.
Yeah, oh, stop. Yeah.
Just imagine Cat Williams.
I see in the chat, she says George Stephanopoulos. He's good too. I like George.
Well, that's all we got for you all tonight. Thank you for pulling up and having a seat at the grown folks table. Please go out and subscribe to our podcast. We are on all podcast platforms. We would love for you to be a subscriber. And don't forget to like our Facebook page so you can receive notifications for when we go live again. I promise you, we're coming back to the table after the vice president debate. So we'll be right back here on next Thursday at 8 o'clock. Please make sure you pull up to the table.
Good night.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, thank you. Good night.
Good night.